Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. Today we're going to take a look at Asajj Ventress, classic Star Wars Clone Wars character. First seeing her in the Star Wars micro series Clone Wars cartoon, I think back in 2003. So we'll jump into her in a second. First, I just want to say apologize for the long wait in video. Super busy time right now going on, so I'm pumping these out at a little bit slower pace, but still been getting some awesome just feedback and engagement in the community, so it's been fantastic. After this, probably start moving on, doing some other videos as well, like try to focus on the Trooper videos. So far in the poll, looks like Empire is pretty popular, so we'll get some of those ready to go and spun up. But in the meantime, let's jump into Asajj Ventress, see what she's all about. With Ventress, there's three of them. And the first one is the Clone Strike Ventress. We're looking at 100, 20, 12, and then 20. And then cost 34. Special abilities, she's got double, loner, and melee, which is actually kind of interesting. Like, her attack is crazy if she's by herself. I mean, all things considered. Force powers, so just 2 force, and then lightsaber riposte. And then commander effect is interest to one. Basically just gives deadly attack to followers within 6 squares. So just taking a look at her overall, like, it doesn't seem too horrible, but some positives, mostly negatives. Overall, I think she's fair. She's okay when everything kind of shakes up. Like, her HP for 3400 is good. That's pretty normal for what you'd see a kind of a 34 costing melee character. The range survivability and melee is not very good. The only reason I'm giving her more with melee is simply because she has riposte. That's something she can do in defense to kind of do some counterattack damage. But then her attack's awesome. So, like, I think for her, that's like the one thing she has going for her. Is her base attack 12 is fine, but if you play her, this is kind of awkward because if you play her as a loner, then she gets crazy attack 16. You'll hit every target every time. Very good. But then she's a commander effect, so it's like, well, do I want to be within 6 squares, or do I want people be without 6 squares, I mean. So it's really tricky. So it's just kind of like a way you can get around that maybe is using the mouse droids to relay her commander effect to people far away. But otherwise, it's just kind of, I hate these characters sometimes that have these conundrums where they have 2 powers that are mutually exclusive. And it just makes it kind of frustrating. So I think that's kind of one of the downsides to her, is having both of those at the same time. But either way, I think her max damage is very solid because she has high attack. She will do that damage, that 40 damage, and then she can do riposte as well. Probably land that at the same time. So not bad. I think her special abilities are fine. Like, having double is always solid. Loner is nice. Nothing else to offer besides that, but not too big a deal. Her force powers, she only has force 2, and riposte is solid, but, like, you know, that'll be gone pretty quick. So kind of poor. Her abilities don't really synergize wonderfully together. I might actually say, you know, the reason I'm docking her so much on this is just especially because how loner and her commander effect just don't make any sense. But overall, like, I think riposte does work with loner. Loner works with double attack when she's by herself. So I suppose it's not as bad as I put it originally. Versatility is not too horrible, but it's poor. Commander effect is, you know, it's kind of funny, the commander effect. The reason I say bad is for this reason. Because she's on the Separatists, so that kind of rules out most of the Separatists. You could say, well, she has deadly attack, so give her a Darth Maul. Well, Darth Maul already has deadly attack, so it's just like, she just doesn't make sense on the Separatists. Like, I'm probably not thinking of someone, but there's probably a character or two this could work with. But even then, I'd recommend going with Strike Leader, because her commander effect's kind of the same thing, but has a little bit more to gain from it. So not a great commander effect, in my opinion. Like, other people are better equipped to give deadly attack, and it makes more sense, but she just doesn't make any sense. And then Adventure score, I gave her 2, not very good. Blue Milk, though, is actually more positive on her than I am. So 6.75 is like the equivalent of me giving her like almost a 3. I don't know if I agree. It's just like, she just seems really out of place for the Separatists. I do really like her high attack and having riposte and stuff. Like, she can do something for a little bit, but overall, it's not my can of not my can of worms, not my favorite. And then we're looking at about $12 cost. Very cheap to pick up. In fact, all of these are like $10, so not bad. So overall, very surpassed by newer characters. Great attack, decent HP, and then our commander effect is only good with characters with at least like triple or quad. But even then, I'd still probably go a strike leader if you're going to do something like that. So what do we got next? So Asajj Ventress, Separatist Assassin. This one is crazy. Like her blue milk score is like 8.86. That's like one of the highest. So looking at 43 cost. So 110 hit points, 20, 12, and 20. So really similar kind of stat profile as the other one, except she has 10 more HP. But this is what she's got to offer. So she still has loner. So this is the true loner because she has nothing holding her back. So you have stealth, go on your own, use that stealth to kind of get into a position. You have double and twin. So if you move, you can still do a lot of damage. You can do the rolling cleave and go again. It's just, there's so much attacking and so much damage going on with her. And the cool thing I love about this Ventress is if you use her right and make her a loner, and then maybe if you buff her some interesting commander effects that are maybe rangeless, you can do some cool stuff. But, like, she's going to always hit everything she attacks because she'll almost always get loner if you use her the right way, or if you use her in that kind of assassin role. So she'll be doing 16 attack. That's guaranteed hits on everybody. And then she attacks a lot. You got twin and double for 4 attacks if you don't move. You got rolling cleave. That's another 2 attacks depending on the circumstance. And then stealth, so you can just kind of get into that spot, get into that position much easier and not have to worry quite as much about getting hit. And then when you are in the right position, you have Sith Rage. You can do it 3 times. And the cool thing with Sith Rage is sometimes when characters have Sith Rage, it's nice to get the plus 10, but I'm a little worried I'm not going to actually land the hits. With her, you're going to land all the hits. You're going to hit everything. Like, you are almost guaranteed to do 120, and then if you knock out that person who's like 120, move over, knock out someone else for 60. It's just crazy. Like, it's just auto damage, really cool. The only thing about her that it's just not awesome survivability, but we'll talk about that right now. Overall is awesome. The HP solid, it's good enough. The range survivability it's really good. Like, it's not incredible, but having stealth is very nice. Melee is not so good though. She just doesn't have anything defensive or like helpful in that regard. Really, she's just all offense. The attack is fantastic. The damage and special abilities is just wild for this kind of kit. Like, so good for what she's doing. I think the ability synergy, I think the force power is solid. Just giving her Sith Rage 3 times with this ability is fantastic. And then the ability synergy is great because twin, rolling cleave, loner, and double, and rage all work together seamlessly for what she's meant for. And I think she's decently versatile. Like, when you have this much going for you, when you have stealth, your versatility is solid. Even though, like, maybe she's like missing, she's not quite as broad in terms of all the different things that she's like great at, but she has a lot of tools that are good at that stealth assassin and even like crowd fighting role. And then overall for Ventress, I gave her the 5. She's exceptional. Blue Milk's very high on her, and she's very cheap. So if you want an awesome melee piece for these people, pick her up. Very good. I really haven't used her too much, to be honest with you, but I see great potential written all over her. And she's actually really easy to find because she came from one of those small map packs. And then in summary, one of the best loner assassins in the game. Just kind of an unreal ability to dish damage. Like, when you're talking about Darth Maul, for example, and he's got a lot of attacks, but his attack isn't quite as high as hers is. So she can just dish it out. So, big fan of Separatist Assassin. Very, very good. So let's go on to the next one, kind of intermediate between the two. So Ventress Strike Leader. She costs 57. Holy crap. So she's way more expensive. Like, 14 more expensive. And she's got a little bit better, different stats, I should say. More HP. More HP. Less defense. Just a little less defense, a little less attack. Not too bad. But it's kind of negated because she has Nimin style. So when this character's like, mostly full healthy, like 60 or 70 HP to 120 HP, she actually has better stats than any of the other Ventresses, which is something to keep in mind. Plus, she's got evade. So it's kind of cool that she has evade. Excuse me, gotta clear my throat, just getting over a cold here. But very, very solid that she's got that. The nice thing about her, she does retain double and twin. Doesn't have rolling cleave, not the end of the world. So she's still able to, do well, but she doesn't have loner anymore. So she only maxes out at 13 attack. Is good, but it's not going to necessarily be quite as automatic potentially as, you know, having the 16 attack. So another thing with her, so not too bad. It's just kind of a bummer to lose that extra attack, but it makes sense because unlike the original Ventress, where you kind of have this conundrum of should I be a loner assassin or commander, she goes the commander route, which is totally fine. But it's just less overwhelming. But definitely has solid, you know, offensive potential as well. Force power wise, you're looking at grip, speed, and rage. Same, you have Force 3, but you have some more variety there, which is kind of nice. Meister's speed could be pretty fun to kind of run in, use to an attack, maybe kind of do a quick strike attack. And then her commander effect is interesting. So it's the same as the original, but so followers within 6 squares score critical hits on rolls of 19 or 20, and they deal triple damage instead of double. So it's kind of like the ultimate, basically, deadly attack, if you want to call it that. And I like it more, and I'll get to it in a second. I do like it more than the other one for a couple reasons. But maybe I'm overvaluing it. So just kind of breaking her down overall, I think her HP is solid. Is definitely good. I mean, melee people's HP doesn't really change all that much in the 40s and 50s. It gets higher, a little higher once you can reach, like, you know, maybe 50s, 60s, 70s. Her range survivability, having evade, trading with evade and stealth, I think it's good. It's either way, I'm fine. The melee's not there. The attack isn't quite as exciting for me. Having 11 attack and costing this much isn't ideal, even if you do have Nim in style. The max damage, though, is still really good. The special abilities, I still think are really, really good. It's a good combination of powers no matter how you cut it. The force powers, solid, nice options. You know, you're missing things like renewal, which would be nice, just to kind of keep the engine rolling, but still solid. And then the ability synergy, solid. Definitely good versatility. I think she's a little more versatile somewhat because a wider range of force powers that can do a variety of things. She's got a solid commander effect. So I think she has maybe a little better versatility than the last one, but that's kind of a trade-off because she's less, you know, kind of intense at one thing. So pick your poison. And her commander effect is fair. So on the other commander effect, I said 1.5. On this one, I say 2.5. And the reason is if I'm going to roll with her, then I'm going to specifically pair her with a character, maybe a fringe character potentially, that can do a lot of attacks. Because if you can get her to someone who can do like triple attack 30 damage or quadruple attack even 20 damage, then I think there's a lot of credence to her commander effect. And we've seen with other characters like, you know, when you give a lot of attacks to Darth Maul, when you have a character such as Luke Skywalker of Yavin, when you look at like Vapid style with the triple attacks and stuff, when you have a lot of attacks and deadly attack, you have a good shot at like landing these critical hits depending on your probabilities. And so dealing triple damage, it's just kind of a little extra. It's like, hey, I already got a nice shot at making this happen. Let's make it hit harder. So I do like that, but I think because of that, she's kind of pigeonholed into being specifically paired with certain characters. So I think my follow-up video I'll do in a couple days, maybe like Sunday or something like that, is definitely, I think it'd be fun to build a squad with her and kind of see what can we do to really extract the most out of her. Because I don't think she's great, but I don't think she's bad either. She definitely isn't, but she does cost a lot, and that's a little tough to swallow. Overall, I do think she's really good. She's not like as bad as the original or like underwhelming as the original, and definitely not as good as the previous one, because that previous one's just like a stone cold assassin. But kind of fun variety going on here. Blue Milk would seem to pretty much agree with me as well. And then again, $12 on eBay. So in summary, less exciting, obviously, than a Separatist assassin due to the high cost, really high cost. But the commander effect, you know, it's just better, better version, not vision, than the stock deadly attack. Really good if you pair it the right characters, like I said. So that's just kind of something you have to discover. Who's the right character to pair it with? And we'll see what I come up with in my next video. Let's move on to the final rankings. Only 3 characters. Wonder what it could be. So first things first is Ventress, 6.75. Okay. And then we move on to... Oh, that's funny. This is a typo on my part. That's what happens when you don't do a video for a couple weeks. These are the Blue Milk scores, not my scores, so it doesn't matter. They turn out to be the same way anyways. That's funny. And then 8.86, so yeah, oopsies. Use Blue Milk scores on this one. My scores would be basically the same, so nothing too surprising. Actually, Ventress would be a little bit worse, as a matter of fact, but the others are about the same. And then moving on, yeah, as you can see here, 2.46, 3.45, and then 4.32. Pretty similar. I'm a little lower on Ventress. I think she's just really weak with a lot of stuff. She's got nice attack. That's all she's really got going for her. And it's not enough for me to make me excited. There's better options. But Separatist Assassin, kind of amazing at everything, just not much of a defender. And then the HP still kind of low-ish, but it's very acceptable. And then Strike Leader, maybe not as overwhelming as Separatist Assassin, but you do still got some nice options. A little more versatility, a fun commander effect if you compare it with the right person to maximize. Maybe mix it with like the Chagrian Mercenary Commander, get all of that damage. That'd be pretty sweet. So yeah, anyways, I'll leave it at that. If you've made it to the end of this video, I appreciate it. Definitely would love to hear what your thoughts are. Please comment about Ventress. Love to hear your thoughts. Which one's your favorite one? What are your thoughts on Ventress in general? And would definitely love to hear just any comments in general, kind of if there's other things you want to see, other things you want me to talk about. Always adding to a growing list of topics to explore. So many cool things you can do with Star Wars Miniatures in terms of content to create. So kind of a shame I wasn't doing this, back in 2007, but here I am, and it's been a lot of fun. So anyways, until next time, guys, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and have a good one.